Hello all of you Ranger fans, and welcome back to another episode of Eternal Ranger Reviews. Today we are going to be reviewing the Soul of Chogokin Dragonzord, also known as the Mighty Morphin Dragonzord, the signature Zord of Tommy Oliver during his time as the Green Power Ranger. So let's just jump right into the review. To start things off, there are no stickers on this toy collectible whatsoever. Everything is all painted, molded plastic with a lot of die-cast metal, giving him a good amount of weight. So let's just point out real quick all the die-cast parts. His toes are die-cast. His legs right here, these silver parts of his legs, they are also die-cast. These little pegs on the back of his legs are die-cast as well. The front piece right here, it's chrome, but it's not die-cast, sadly. The top part on his head, no, it is also not. These parts right here, these gold shoulder arm parts, they are also die-cast. And I think that is all the die-cast. He does have posability in his legs. His legs can go, because of his tail in the way, they can go about back that far. They can go forward that far. He does have a knee joint. So his knees can bend straight out like that, or they can bend backwards a little bit. His toes are on a, not his toes, his feet are on a ball joint, so they can go all 360 around. Obviously that goes for both of his legs. This little part right here is on a hinge joint. His hands are on ball joints as well. And he also does come with a pair of extra hands, which are more like the grabby hands, I want to say. I do like these hands, but they don't work very well for transformation. They are mostly good for pictures and poses that you put him in. His arms can move out this far because of the joint right here. They can also spin around. Personally, I would be very careful with that joint. It does seem very fragile. His arms can move up and down. That's mostly for transformation. Had to take a quick pause right there. I'm sorry about that. I do completely forget where my train of thought was right there. But let me, his mouth does open and close only about that far because of the fact that this part is in the way. His hands, let me show you how they come off. You just pop them right off. Take that off right there, and then you can put his hand from this little socket right into, I would recommend being very gentle. Don't try to force it on. It's kind of tight. At least on mine it is. But there you go. That is how it looks with this type of hand on it. I do prefer this hand, but like I said, it doesn't work very well when it comes to transformation wise. Put this back on. His tail is also articulated. It is completely posable. So each section is on its own individual ball joint. It's also on a little bit of a ratcheted joint right here. And that is pretty much it for articulation wise. His posability is very limited mostly. But he does work very well with the Soul of Chogokin Megazord. They do pair up very nicely, and let me show you exactly how. Alright, here we go. Now he does have two modes. He has the Dragonzord Battle Mode, and then he also has the Mega Dragonzord. So we're going to start things off with the Dragonzord Battle Mode. And we're going to put him aside just for now, just to set up these three guys right here. Same exact way as you would set up the Soul of Chogokin Megazord. To start things off, you're going to put these down like this, pop his tail down, flip it in, push these legs into its body, pull this tab right out, and then you want to pull this tab out right here, just so that way you have a little bit more leverage while he's standing up. Flip the teeth up, and he is good to go. Now the Triceratops Zord is very easy. Push these in, push his treads in, flip his tail in, push his head up just like that, and pull this peg out just like that. So we're going to start off with these. And for the Dragonzord, we're going to push those aside for a moment. For the Dragonzord, we're going to take the tail off to start off. We're going to split him open, just like this. We're going to pull this part out. I'm going to put that aside for later. Close his body back up. And we're going to take his hands, we're going to push his arms inward, and then we're going to take his hands and pull them down, just like that. And then tuck them right in. Do the same on the other side. And then we are going to straighten his legs out completely. Just so that way he looks just like this. We're going to take the two halves, push them together, so that way they form the symbol that is also on the dragon coin. And we're going to take his little flaps on his legs, we're going to flip those flaps up. And we're going to just turn his knees inward and push the flap back down. So everything is nice and flush. We're going to get the Zyuranger symbol right there. And now he is basically good to go. So we're going to take the yellow and blue Zords. We're going to plug him in just like with the actual Megazord. We're going to plug these tabs that are on the back of his legs into the holes that are on each of these Zords. And that's how he's going to be, just like that. Give me 1 second to adjust my camera. And then we're going to take the Mastodon Zord, take his head off. We're going to lift these flaps up here. Flip these flaps up just like this. Tuck these parts into itself onto the arms, just like you would do on the regular Megazord. Turn his legs inward so you can reveal the hands. And we're gonna split this apart just like that, so that way we have a pair of arms. We're gonna turn him around, so we have this open back area right here. As you can see, it is completely open. We're gonna take this, put it right here, and then we're just gonna plug the pegs over here on the sides into his body. So now he has arms. Now you don't have to do this step, but I like to do it just for accuracy. You take this tab and just flip it up, so that way it's kind of out of the way. And the only thing left to do is, let me just adjust my camera real quick again. Oop, a little too high. One more time. Perfect. Okay. From here, the only other thing we want to do is just pull his mouth down. As we pull this mouth down, his upper jaw is going to come down too, to reveal the Dragonzord fighter mode head. And there you have the Dragonzord in his fighter mode. Personally, absolute favorite mode. Let me back him up just a bit so that way you can see him in all of his Dragonzordy good glory. There we go. And there you have his fighter mode. Now, let's come back to the other pieces, namely his tail and this. Now, there's two things that you could do. You can take his tail and you can just push each individual piece into itself, just like this. So it's nice and stiff. Okay, then we're going to take the chest piece from him. We're going to flip this part open to reveal a little stand. Take the stand, pull it out just like that. You can take your finger, push it inside, so that way you can kind of push this part open, which will reveal the handle in a second. You can take this handle, you can flip it out. So he has something to hold right there, and then you're gonna have to I like to use, honestly, I use the pterodactyl wings to kind of wedge in between here and then get that piece up. It doesn't always work though. And I don't, okay, so sometimes when the wing doesn't work, I use the beak, because the beak is a little bit more sturdy. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does work. It really just depends on what it wants to do. And this time it works, okay. So then you want to stand that peg up completely, just like that. And you can take the tail, plug the entire tail. You want to make sure that it matches up with the peg. Plug it in just like that. And then you're going to take this part and kind of just stick it into his hand right there, so that way he's holding it. Now, it doesn't look, to me, that does not look correct or accurate. It looks way too big, and I don't like it. So there is another option that you have. Let's turn this back into the regular part that it was. I do like how everything on this folds up and collapses very nicely. So you can take that, put that aside, and now the Dragonzord does come with this alternative stand, which is already assembled. It's already at its normal length. Now it does. Now you can't actually plug it in like this. So what you do is you want to pull off either these three or these two. It's really up to you. I like using three. And you just plug it right there into the top. And this fits into his hand much better. Just put it right into his hand. It's a lot easier if you actually open his hand up. So you can just kind of wedge it in there. Yeah, I get him standing back up straight. And boom, you have his staff, which looks, like I said, so much better. I love him in this mode. He looks absolutely amazing. Now, let's get into his other mode by turning everyone back to their normal positions. Alright, and here we have the Dino Megazord and the Dragonzord. Now, this time around, we're going to put the Dragonzord with the Megazord. So it's kind of the opposite of what we just did. So let's move the Dragonzord out of the way just for the moment. And we're going to focus solely on the Megazord. If you guys want to see my review on the Megazord, it is on my page. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to straighten his arms out. We're going to take these tabs and we're going to flip them down completely, just like this. We're also going to pull his legs outwards, so that way they're more sturdy. And we're going to take his horns and we're going to fold them inward. We're also, just to get ready, take his tail and we're going to just pull that down just like that. So he is now ready to go. Now, we're going to put him aside and we are going to prepare Dragon Caesar. Now, pretty much the same as what we were doing before. Take off his tail, split him open, pull out that, let that middle part fall out. Take his arms, fold them into themselves, just like so. Straighten out his legs. Now, the thing that we're going to be doing different here is instead of closing him up and pulling everything in front of him, we're actually going to split him in half completely so he looks just like this. And then we are going to take his legs, flip them back into themselves just like we did before. Do it again on this side too. And then we're going to take the legs and we're going to fold them down. Just like this. We're going to keep his mouth closed. We're actually going to turn his horn upwards and we're going to flip this tab open right here on the back. Now what we are going to do is we're going to take this whole section of the Dragonzord and we're going to put it on top of the Mighty Morphin Megazord. Be very careful when you're doing this. You could easily break your Dragonzord and you don't want to do that. So he's going to sit nice and flush up there. Then we're going to take this part and we're going to hook it into the back. We're going to take the tail. We're going to flip the tail right back up just like that. And that's basically it for the Dragon Ultrazord. Now, there is a couple of other things that you can do if you choose to do them. You can take this part, flip it upside down, turn this all the way back so that way you have that little tab right there. Turn him to the side. I'm just going to plug this into this tab right there on the foot. Well, more so on the back of the leg. So that way it'll kind of hang just like that. It doesn't really serve any real purpose, but it is something that you can do if you choose to do so. Also, for the other side, you can take his tail pull this part off, the very tip of the tail, along with these two pieces right here. We're going to put this part... Actually, I'm sorry. You only really need these two pieces. You take this, put it off to the side, plug this part into the tail. Nope, I'm sorry again. I was wrong. You do need this second section. This part right there. It's the only one that actually fits. Or maybe it's also not. Again, I apologize. Maybe it's this one. Which one is it? I remember. Okay, so you take these two parts, and then it's these two parts. You don't need these ones that are like the middle section. Take those, you do that. Or you can just take this part alone and put it just like that. That actually looks a lot better. And same on this side, you just plug it right into the tab that's on his leg over here. And that kind of holds him up a little bit more. And there you have the Dragon Ultrazord. Or the Mega Dragonzord, I believe it's called, actually. The Mega Dragonzord. Personally, this is not my favorite mode of his. I don't like using this mode because I think it looks too big. I think it looks too clunky. So I almost never actually use this mode. I prefer Dragonzord Fighter mode or just standard Dragonzord. So let's put them back to normal. Now I did give this one to my daughter, so as you can see the pieces are obviously not all there. But this is the Legacy Dragonzord that we got. And this is the Soul of Chogokin one. Personally, I think, even though he is smaller, I think he looks way more accurate to the show. But that is just my opinion. A lot of people would disagree, and that is totally fine. At the time, I loved this one. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. They both did exactly the same things. There's nothing really different about either one of them. But personally, I prefer the Soul of Chogokin one. So that's, just wanted to put a comparison for that right there. So yes, that is my review on the Soul of Chogokin Dragon Caesar, aka the Dragonzord. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit that like button. Please also subscribe to my channel if you are a fan of Power Rangers and toy reviews, just like I am. You will get updated on every single video that I post from here on. And of course, if you want to get more notifications of any other videos that I post in the future, please ring that Ranger bell so that way you can instantly be notified. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic night. And of course, if you want to, please support me through Patreon. I will post my Patreon in the description below. Have a fantastic night. And of course, as always, may the power protect you. Have a fantastic night, everyone.